So right now we're actually just a few feet away from where we were showing you rolling the ring. Okay, and the reason we have that so close to our work cell is so that we don't have to carry the rings too far. We look at every possible opportunity to keep our cost lower, which every time we handle a part, we're increasing our cost. So we look at that at every possible opportunity. Like I said before, with the Craftsman, you're going to see here, this is a very unique ride. This is the two-seat roller coaster, or the two-seat gyroscope ride that we started out the tour with. Every single component on here is manufactured in-house and tacked up together, and basically this is in the final weld phase. And eventually we're going to be showing you one here in the secondary phase. So what you're looking at now is basically a gyroscope that is getting ready to go in for powder coating. So this is a fully tested unit. We've tested it before we actually put it in for powder coat. We actually have all the wheels and everything on it. Everything gets test fit to make sure that everything fits in there perfectly before we'll disassemble some of the components. But we actually are almost able to powder coat this entire unit as one piece. And you're going to see why in a minute. We have one of the biggest powder coating booths in the whole state, actually in one of the tri-state areas here. So you're going to see that we could easily put probably 4 of these things in the size powder coat booth that we have. So we're going to actually be stepping right over here to be able to do that. So these here are basketball games that you saw earlier, both at the beginning and its finished state, and then you're also able to see it when we were fitting everything up. These right now are getting ready to go in for powder coat. Right here's our powder coat booth, and then over to the left here is our oven. So basically you're going to see here, these are ones in a finished state. As I had told you before, we have one of the biggest ovens around. I mean, just to give you an idea, I'm, what, maybe 7 feet tall probably, so on a good day, but you could get the size and the mass of this unit. We could fit in 4 basketball games in here at one time, and we also have the opportunity to do a lot of different things that you can't do anywhere else. When you're doing railing and different projects like that, if you have a small booth, you have to cut your railing down into different sections, and then you have to assemble it on site. Just to give you an idea on this, on the size and the massive heat that comes out of this thing, this is a 3 million BTU oven. Again, one of the biggest, one of the most powerful anywhere in the state. All right, now we're just about ready to begin our machining operation. We have many different value chains here, like I mentioned. This is the very beginning part of the machining operation. You can see up here behind me, we basically bring in all of our raw material steel here, and it gets ready to be processed. Believe it or not, we actually don't carry a lot of this in inventory. We plan ourselves out very well in advance to make sure that we don't have to worry about that. But one thing that we do to make sure that we're saving time for people is we figure out different ways, again, like I had mentioned earlier, to reduce time that it takes to do things. If we can have one guy do the job, it's better than having 2 people do the job. So you'll see here on this table, we basically set this up where we're doing 2 different bars at one time. And actually we build this separate rack here, which doesn't come with the saw. We actually custom designed this. But what that does is allows one guy to easily roll this. I don't want to take it off, but you basically pull these out of here, and this will roll right onto the table for you. And you'll be able to see here at the end the different precision cut that this can do. These are full CNC machines. They're not, they're not manual saws by any stretch of the imagination. These are fully CNC controlled, almost like our CNC type machines. Jim here is able to actually run both saws at one time. And Jim here is actually our very first employee and has really guided us through a lot of the tough years for the last 13 years. And he's been with us from the days of Primalock. So what you'll see here is we're able to run both saws, and these will actually run lights out. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hours to get through a bundle of material. So Jim can put these on at 4 o'clock before he leaves for the day, and it can run for 5 or 6 hours before it shuts off. What you're seeing here is actually our primary production area in the facility. You're going to see at the forefront of the camera you have everything coming out here with the lathe, and you'll notice on those machines that everything is bar fed. So that basically increases our productivity as well. We can set these machines up to run overnight many, many times. Also, as you're moving up through, from a natural flow perspective, we'll then move into the milling department. Matt Milochik up there is going to show us many different things that you have on that we're going to be doing on the mill, and Shad Romarmal down here is going to show us many of the different things that you're going to have on the lathe. The opportunity we're going to have here in a second is to see the roller coaster axle actually moving all the way through the process. You had seen that earlier over at the plasma table. One thing that you're going to notice here is every single machine in this building is the exact same brand. We use all Haas machines, and we do that for a few reasons. One is it standardizes ourselves. They're the best equipment in the market. It's made in the USA. They're easy to learn and program, and provides us great flexibility on all the different jobs. So we could easily move from one machine to another without having to reprogram, refixture, or do anything like that. All right, now we're up here in the mill department, and we're actually going to be putting in the different slots that we'll actually use to mount the axle into the other membrane that needs to mount with it in order for it to be effective. So Matt Milochik here is actually our mill manager, and he's going to be handling that operation right now. Now what you're going to notice here is we use a rotary head. Now what this allows us to do is basically do all the operations on this piece all in one setup, so we don't have to actually refixture. Every time you refixture, it's more cost and it's more handling. So if you look over here, you're going to have a better idea of what we're actually looking to do with this operation. We're going to remove these teeth right here. These are the slots where the bolts will basically mount this to the other piece, and then we're also going to be machining this slot up here in a separate operation. So if you look here in the machine, Matt's going to be inspecting that while we're running this piece. So what it's doing right now is it's milling out that slot. Now the white fluid that you see is a coolant to make sure that our drill tips stay cool and make sure that we have a nice finish on the part. Keeps a very precision finish. So as soon as it's done with that operation, which should be any minute, it's going to take another pass. So what we're doing here is we're actually taking a few passes at that piece to make sure we have a rough cutting pass, and we're also going to have a finishing pass. Now this machine is actually also equipped with laser tool detection. We have probing and everything that's built into this. Like I said, this is a precision roller coaster piece. So what we'll actually do is we're going to be bringing in a probe at the end of this process to inspect the piece. So we can inspect it right here on the machine and make sure that before we even remove it from the machine, that's 100% accurate. We're able to retain those records and make sure, again, from a safety factor, that everything is exactly right. Now we can also run these machines lights out. Now we've never run a roller coaster piece lights out. We like somebody to be at the machine when we're doing that. But when we're running something else that's a lower precision part, we'll run lights out. The laser tool detection will actually pick up any break in a tool or any wear in a tool and feed it right back into our program. That's one of the new features on the new Haases, which basically all our machines here are pretty well, within the last 3 years, brand new Haas machines. So you can see that that's actually rotating that around now to another slot, and now it's going to start milling the slot. You also notice we didn't come very far off the part with our tool because it's wasted travel time. So we'll keep our tool as close to the part as we possibly can.